So in Latin America, I hiked 6 volcanoes in 6 weeks. It was a great start to that lifestyle.
Milosh Pelucha traveled to over 25 countries in the past 3 years, building infrastructures for remote workers and connecting destinations with visitors.
Digital nomads are not the ones who are responsible for this. The ones that are truly in power of setting the future are the people that manage the places, local governments, local regional boards, tourism boards, and destinations.
He set the mission to help tourists prepare for the future and everything that comes with it.
We're all gonna die, but at one point, what are you gonna think of? The house that you owned, or that time when you were skiing the powder in Japan, or like surfing in Bali?
Hey Milosh, welcome to the Nomads Entrepreneur Show.
Hey Gabe, thanks for having me.
How does a kilometers long walk across Spain change someone's life?
Yeah, well, it does quite significantly, to be honest. It was just straight after COVID, everyone started working remotely. So did I, and basically spent the first 18 months in Slovakia. I like to say that I've been nomad for 8 years, and I've been working remotely for 5 years. But that walk truly shaped my vision of like where I want to get and who I want to be. And basically, I just spent 800 kilometers walking the famous Camino de Santiago, thinking that I want to pursue some passion of my life. And that walk just completely changed my perspective. And I realized that freedom is what matters the most.
That's something, right? When we engage in a hard activity, we often end up with our thoughts and our ideas and kind of get that clarity on what we actually want to become or what we actually want to do in our life. And for you, when that happened?
Yesterday, I heard this good thing that everyone should take a week off every year and basically spend it with themselves. And walking, hiking, through hiking, call it whatever you would like, basically offers you that, right? Because you just totally disconnect. As soon as I started this walk, I just deleted all the social media from my phone, basically haven't chatted to anyone, and just stayed with my thoughts every morning. Just pack your bag, hit the road, walk 20,000 steps, get some food, talk to some people. And it really changes your perspective because you start looking at things differently, and you start appreciate the small things that truly make your day better. And I believe that combined with the physical accomplishment and like staying off the information overload and the daily issues or daily challenges that we all face, just bring your mind to a different position and different point where you start thinking about your life differently, and you start thinking, okay, this is what I appreciate, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to do, and this is how I would want my life to go.
Yeah, that's the case, especially when you do it alone. Because you're just you and
Totally.
your thoughts, you don't chatting with others, you don't get distracted. And please tell us, who is Milosh? Who that 800 kilometers road made Milosh that we talked to today?
That's interesting. I guess I'm adventurous, intentional, and eager to change the world for a better place in a way. Not that I'm trying to develop something groundbreaking, or not that I want to help people achieve their dreams, but just make your little bit to contribute a little bit to changing world for better. And I think what truly this walk truly opened my mind to is just realizing that every day is the same, and it doesn't matter that whether you're facing a tough client call, it doesn't matter whether you're about to go to the hardest exam of your life. It's just every day you just have to do the same thing, wake up, do something, and then yeah, have a good day.
Yeah, I like the way you put it because often we get caught in these day-to-day activities and we got drained by some of them and you think, oh, this is the worst. And then a great day comes by and so on. And we don't have to put so much pressure on ourselves from that perspective.
We tend to overcomplicate things, and like exactly like just walking every day just gives you an idea. Okay, what do I have to do? I just have to wake up, do something productive, and enjoy my day, talk to nice people, be nice with people. And that was a huge lesson for sure during that walk, and just making me realize, okay, we often think that this is what we want. During that walk, I was interviewing for my dream job, my dream company, and I was pretty sure that I was going to get it, but at the end I didn't get it. And that basically just that job would have made me stay in Amsterdam, Netherlands for a long time. And basically, I realized, okay, I don't actually want to live in Amsterdam, Netherlands. I want to go and travel the world. So it was like a blessing in disguise. And it also just makes you really realize sometimes we're thinking our problems are so big and so huge, whereas it's you just got to get on with it and show up every day, do your work every day. We all heard about a book, Atomic Habits. Some of us read it, some of us didn't. Just do not underestimate small things, because if you do it daily, then it just accumulates and creates a great outcome.
And speaking of that, what do you do on a daily basis that is making this world a better place? And please tell me a bit more about your mission.
My mission is basically, after this walk, I decided, okay, I want to start freelancing and I want to start traveling the world as a digital nomad. It was in 2021. So back then it was a bit, the resentment towards the digital nomadism or remote work wasn't as big. So there was more opportunities to get work, even contracted work or even as an employee in the space. So I just made the decision that, okay, I'm going to go and travel the world. And to me, that was the most life-changing decision of my life, just because it just brought me to a place where I never thought I would be. I was born and raised in Slovakia, northern part of Slovakia. Obviously, had an opportunity to study abroad, but I never thought that I was going to go and travel the world the way I did in the past 3 years. And that didn't come at the cost of some professional growth or personal growth. It came with it. I would just love for people from all over the world to have this opportunity and pivot towards remote work, freelancing, micro entrepreneurship, and digital nomadism, because it truly brings a level of freedom. And so, what I do on a daily basis is I try to convince destination management organization, regional tourism boards, and businesses in tourism to start catering and creating more services and products for digital nomads, remote workers, higher demand, better services. So I just want them to realize that this is a segment that's growing and that's going to grow for the foreseeable future, and just make life easier for all of us, like you or like me, and like all the nomads around.
I like the mission, especially because you mentioned that word convincing, and indeed that's something that it's work that has to be done, since most of them are not open to digital nomads. Why that happen?
Yeah. You know what? I think it's just there is definitely not a lot of people are just not educated enough about who actually a digital nomad is. You know, you see all these protests in cities like Barcelona, Lisbon, where they're like, tourists go home. You know, obviously, tourism shouldn't result in incredible growth of prices for locals. It should not price the locals out of their neighborhoods. I think we all agree on that. But digital nomads are not the ones who are responsible for this. They're just like using the opportunity. The ones that are truly in power of setting the future are the people that manage the places. So local governments, local regional boards, tourism boards, and destinations. And these are the people that can truly make a decision to accommodate digital nomads as well as local residents. I feel just that there is not enough content or not enough information that truly describes what, like, who digital nomads are and how are they willing to integrate themselves within the destination. So I basically did some survey myself in the past few weeks where I was talking to a lot of digital nomads from Barcelona and just trying to ask about how willing are they to learn Catalan, how willing would they be hiring local people for their businesses, because again, digital nomads are oftentimes entrepreneurial, be freelancers, solopreneurs, or startup founders, and the numbers are shockingly high. So a lot of people would expect them to be just like someone who takes advantage of low prices, but it's quite the opposite. People want to be integrated, people want to belong into the community, but there's just a shortage of opportunities to get integrated within the local communities provided by those that manage the places. So it really takes, as you said, a lot of work just to try to convince them and see the light, because the press that currently is being given to digital nomads is just, hey, this is bad thing, this doesn't help anyone, whereas it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, because often digital nomads are associated with or confused with tourists. And can you describe for us the difference between digital nomads and actual tourists?
Sure. So tourist is someone who comes for a vacation, takes a limited time off, spends a couple of weeks at the top, goes to tourist attractions, spends your day very differently. Like normally you visit a lot of attractions, you do a lot of exercises, or like you just try to maximize your time. Whereas digital nomads are just people who live their normal life, work 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, whatever hours they want to, try to build their routines in a way. They visit places like local gyms, cafes, restaurants, basically create the routines that any person has anywhere else in the world. And then when the times allows it, they're keen to explore the place, go on hikes, do some spearfishing, surfing, play football, basically whatever. So these people come normally for maybe between 3 to 6 months. Some of them stay longer, some of them stay shorter, and they basically make the place their home. So the dynamics of the travel is very different compared to the tourists. Obviously, because of the fact that they stay longer, they simply bring more revenue to the place. They spend more money. If I'm not mistaken, one of the biggest success stories in the digital nomad world, Madeira, the estimation is that digital nomads bring between $2,000 to $3,000 a month to the local economy, which is really significant number per person. So yeah, it is almost as a temporary immigration. And I know a few countries are looking at it from this perspective that apart from digital nomads being tourists, it can also present someone that can be a smart immigration because you can allow your place to target very skilled workforce.
Yeah, good comparison because indeed tourists they don't only come in for shorter terms, but might come as well in masses comparing to digital nomads. Let's say a cruise ship enters the town, like it's floating the streets and so on, or is the high season in a certain location around the world, and a lot of tourists come in that part of, like, let's say summer in Barcelona, like you cannot walk the streets. But digital nomads they travel as well off season, and they don't come in batches like that. Of course, there are bigger communities like Madeira, Chiang Mai, or others,
Bali.
or Bali, exactly. But even here, for example, currently I'm in Bali, and not the nomads are the problem, the tourists. Like it's over tourism, and I think that's the biggest topic we should dive a bit deep into. Like, how can attracting digital nomads can solve this over tourism problem, apart from the things that you already mentioned?
Yeah, yeah, really well said, Gab. Basically, the thing is that exactly as you said, there is a lot of people coming, right? Over tourism is everywhere now. Everyone is bothered that people just want to go and see the beautiful places. Everyone who comes to Europe wants to see Barcelona, wants to see Lisbon, wants to go to Switzerland, of course, because those places are beautiful, but it's just not sustainable, right? Everyone talks about the spread of the tourists, and attracting digital nomads is one of the best ways to do it. For example, you're in Bali, which is like a digital nomad hotspot. So that's pretty much like a all year long spot, right? I'm now in the Atlantic Ocean and on Sao Miguel Island, and here the tourism season basically lasts from May until September. That's like a peak season. The island is like super packed with travelers, tourists. That's when most of their airlines are flying out here, so it's easy to get here for a short or prolonged period of time. Uh, but the place is inhabitable, and like you can have a good time at the place like throughout the year. The shoulder seasons and off seasons are the biggest problems of tourism, and that's when the tourism businesses and destination can really benefit of attracting digital nomads, because these are the people that like are constantly on the way. I've been moving around for the past over 3 years, constantly changing places, and that's something that oftentimes these people are not truly aware of. They think, okay, we have an off season, so there's basically no one coming, but there is a possibility to create products and attract them to something, like show what your place has to offer in that off season, and make them come over. Again, another one important thing is like digital nomads travel for communities and authenticity. So they do not only want to see that the beautiful street in I don't know, La Rambla in Barcelona, or they do not only want to see Westminster in London. Of course, there are people who will always prefer staying in big cities because there's just like more life to it. But actually, from my own experience, the most authentic are the best experiences that you will get to live. Places that like Sao Miguel, that has a lot to offer in the off season, should definitely be catering to digital nomads and marketing destination appeal to them, creating communities, having community facilitators, because this is a big thing too, right? Like it's hard to just create online products and say, hey, like we're now open to digital nomads. No, there needs the community, but that's a whole different topic that I believe we'll delve into a bit later. But like you need carefully crafted and fostered community in order to be able to attract digital nomads sustainably. But at the end of the day, exactly as you said, and tourism has become so much more accessible. More and more people are traveling each year. And now a lot of people from tourism are afraid, what is it going to do to our industry? And you have the most innovative tourism boards talking about, we're trying to attract this like high contributing visitors. So those are people who are like going to stay longer with us, people who are willing to learn about our local culture, people who are going to be willing to spend more money, support the local businesses, people who are truly going to understand what this place is. So we do not want more visitors. We want visitors who contribute more or who hold our place in a higher regard. And those are effectively digital nomads. So that's who you want to attract. You want to attract someone who stays with you longer, cares about your place, wants to integrate within your local community, and spends their time and money in your place. And those are digital nomads. But I just feel that just because of the backlash and bad press that the nomadism, in a sense, has been receiving, like most of my friends, if I tell them about digital nomadism, they're like, oh my God, so you just travel to cheap places, cheap for Westerners, and you just go and chase the sun, like that's the whole point of your life. And I'm like, no, well, it's quite the opposite. But yeah, I just feel that the stereotypes are definitely in a lot of people's minds, and it takes a long time to get them off it.
Yeah, that's the reality with almost anything. We often paint that picture of a certain thing or a certain title like digital nomad, and we think that we know everything about it. And maybe we can do a bit of education on that side of things. Because you mentioned something there quite the opposite. How does your digital nomad's lifestyle looks like for someone that, because I know that kind of the places that you travel to recently and indeed are not cheap. That's one thing. Second, I know your lifestyle, but for those that listen, how
Yeah,
does that look like?
yeah, that's a good point, Gabe. So basically, for me, again, the power of remote work is that you get to choose where you want to work from. Some people may want to work from the office even if they work remotely, and that's completely fine. A lot of us are, I'm always trying to work from a co-working space. So a lot of people will tell me like, hey, it's almost the same as working from the office, right? But I think the true game changer is that you can chase your passions, right? So I love outdoor sports. So I most of the time I will choose destinations where I can get to do some cool sports. Like I'm trying to learn surfing here in the Azores. I've been to Japan where I did some ski touring. I spent a lot of time in Thailand where I was learning some Muay Thai. So it's just about like truly finding your way and being in charge of, okay, this is what I want to do and this is how I want to combine that with my lifestyle. As I said, I'm very adventurous. I like to do things outside and chase my passions, and remote work allows for it. Even during my first year, I started my nomad journey in South America, out of all places. I've been to Colombia, Mexico, Guatemala. So in Latin America, I hiked, I think, 6 volcanoes in 6 weeks. And it was just a great start to that lifestyle, and that it allows me then to build up on it. So I knew that I wanted to, like, going to Japan and skiing in that profoundly known powder was a dream of mine. So I was like, okay, let's do it. We went there with my friend. We went there like as soon as it opened to tourism after COVID, literally like in the first few weeks. And it was just incredible. Like we were like up in the Hokkaido Island ski touring with like local people, like incredible experience that I will keep with myself for the rest of my life. Recently this year, I spent a longer time in the United States for the first time, traveling through places that I had no idea could be such a beautiful spots and could be in effect like great nomads and like remote work hotspots like in the Northeast, New England or Colorado. For me, the remote work always possesses the opportunity to just chase my dreams, chase my passions, and yeah, enjoy my lifestyle while being productive and trying to focus on my professional and personal growth.
That paints a great picture because indeed that's something that most of us chase and as digital nomads, and that freedom to choose what activities you enjoy doing, what place do you want to live. And probably, yeah, that's chasing the sun, probably chasing the snow like you, or chasing adventures. And that's something that a traditional way of living doesn't really get you. And as well, I don't want to downplay like just become a digital nomad or just do that. No, it's not for everyone, that's for sure. And it's not an easy way of living as well. But to move a bit the discussion towards the bad press that digital nomads are getting, and especially in popular places like Lisbon or even Barcelona, maybe Amsterdam, what's the actual solution to that apart from education?
Apart from education, the actual solution is for, again, for governments and for those that can make the difference to truly build strategic plans on like how are you going to attract people to these other parts of your country, right? Because then you think about, for example, Portugal has been a great example of it because they basically allowed for foreigners. There was a quite some investment needed, but if you were able to invest this into real estate, you were able to get a permanent residency in Portugal. So a lot of nationals, especially from Northern America, came, invested those money, got their properties. At the same time, there was maybe 30,000, maybe over 30,000 people who moved to Lisbon. But at the same time, there was, firstly, not enough new development. So you, if you just have more people who are able to pay a lot of money and you do not build a lot of new places, of course, it's going to skyrocket the prices of the existing places. And secondly, promotion of places that are like not the go-tos. Like if somebody goes to Portugal, probably first thing they know about Portugal is Lisbon, right? Second thing they know that there's Porto, then they know that there is Madeira. Not a lot of them know that there are Azores, and like regions like probably like northern Portugal or are not as known and as popular. And in my opinion, this should be the goal of the local governments, is to make sure that you promote places that are like under the radar of the beaten path enough in order to make sure that you spread the amount of tourists. Because again, like if somebody has only 1 or 2 weeks of their vacation, they probably want to see the main places or like the those that are the most attractive in their eyes. But if somebody is coming to your place for 3 or 6 months, you can sell them the idea of, hey, like you don't have to live 6 months in Lisbon, you can come and spend 3 months in the Azores, you can spend 2 months down in Madeira and 1 month, I don't know, in Lisbon. So it's really about like them like navigating the journey. Yeah, it is carefully spread out, and that you promote and show the hidden beauty of your place.
Yeah, and those hidden gems are they're the gold seeds. Because if you uncover those and promote those and create, as you mentioned, strategic plans to do so, because yeah, like building communities around that location, attracting the right individuals to it, not just the probably the investors or the tourists or big attraction chaser, then you attract the right individuals that you like well mentioned, like digital nomads who are able to stay longer, want to integrate, invest in the locals. And that's another point, because tourists they go to probably big name hotels that are not even owned by locals or such. Of course, now it's very popular to get an Airbnb, and a lot of people do that. But the traditional tourists are still doing the hotel thing, the resort, the popular tourist activities, and the locals don't really benefit a lot from that. But nomads are going and eating at underrated restaurants. They're going to try new things. They're going.
Exactly. Like, goal shouldn't be having your people staying at a Hilton hotel and paying for a lunch in Hard Rock Cafe, right? Luckily, there is a lot of people who are realizing it, and not only nomads, but also people who are building businesses within the ecosystem, incentivizing people for spending their money in the local ecosystem, spending their money in local restaurants, because this is definitely the way to go. Like again, you see all this protest, and again, it's a lot of times in the countries where their GDP is massively dependent on tourism, right? Like tourism is one of the biggest industries, if not the biggest industry in the world, provides for an incredible amount of jobs. And just like saying, hey, tourism is bad is simply not an answer. So the answer is like, how are we going to create a tourism that's sustainable, that brings lots of revenue, provides for job opportunities, but also protects the cultural aspects of every destination. And this is why I'm like so bullish on remote work and digital nomadism, because I truly believe that this is the future in 10, 15, 20 years. This is going to be the dream visitor of most of the destinations. So yeah.
I agree with that. And I actually had a great discussion today with a local from here from Bali and with someone that lives in Indonesia for the past 10 years. And yeah, on the surface, Bali is very welcoming and locals are very friendly and so on. But deep down, they actually don't like the fact that Bali is so popular and attracts so many tourists. Or of course, the money is nice and everything that tourists brings. But at the end of the day, it's over tourism. It's destroying the culture. It's overcrowded and the development is literally killing the nature. Guess who's the problem? Not the digital nomads. Probably digital nomads are like 2 or 3% from the amount of tourists Bali gets every single year. And then, of course, first, let's be real, is the government. Second, are the locals who are selling their lands instead of keeping them and not. They want the money, the government allows to do that, and actually locals from another like Indonesian from other islands like Java, they're coming in, they're purchasing the land from Balinese, and they invest it in, they transform it into hotels, accommodations, and other businesses that cater to tourists, not to actual nomads. And probably if they approach the same thing, and maybe let's be strategic about it. If destination manager or someone on that side is listening to us today, how will you make a short, actionable, step-by-step plan for them to attract digital nomads rather than tourists and create a sustainable approach that is applicable for the whole year, not just for the high season? And you can choose a location if you want as well.
That's a great question. Yeah, so basically people are always going to want to visit great places, beautiful places, tourists and nomads. So I believe every destination has a story to tell, every destination has something to offer. So it's always about finding what makes your place unique, what makes it different than the other. So if I work with someone who wants to create a digital nomad program, be it, I don't know, a pop-up co-living retreat, or create a digital nomad visa program, or create a digital nomad co-living space, I think the most important is always to find what makes you unique, what makes you different, and why should people come to you. Obviously there are places that are like where the four season weather is like the same, and like in or maybe where you have the dry and a monsoon season, like in Bali, or pretty much here. um, or and then you have places that can be seasonal. Then there is like an off season where you can still, where the weather changes, but you can still offer something. For example, I'm from Slovakia, right? And I always say that Slovakia has a great four seasons weather because, okay, summer is not my favorite, but autumn is amazing because you have a lot of this like beautiful foliage when like the trees are like all the colors. In a winter, if the winter is great, like in the mountains, you have amazing opportunity to do a lot of skiing, snowboarding, ski touring, ice climbing, whatever. Again, like a playground for outdoor enthusiasts. In the spring everything comes to life, so you can again start doing like more sports like hiking, running, climbing. So again, like the powerful tool for Slovakia, or what makes it unique, is its beautiful nature, right? But then again, like you have places that are like so different. You can take this and the same thing that I said about Slovakia, apply it to most of the states in the New England. Then you can take place like, I don't know, New Mexico, which has like a great art scene, and it would naturally probably attract more people who are into art. You can take people in places like Indonesia, Philippines, Brazil, Salvador, and attract surfers because those are like world known surf spots. So it's always about finding what makes you different, what you can offer, and why should the people travel for it. What I often say to my leads or to my clients too is, because some of them say, okay, but we're this little town in Spain and no one really speaks English. And I'm like, well, that's great, because like you can attract people who, digital nomads who want to learn Spanish, right? So you can just like, build a product about it. Hey, come to our town, spend 3 months here. You'll get a couple of lessons every week, and you will be forced to speak Spanish. So you will actually gain a Spanish proficiency after that time. So it, again, like every challenge presents an opportunity. That's like a motto of my life, and I believe that again, every place has something to offer. It's truly about just like sitting down and understanding that this is what makes us unique, this is what we can offer, and you can always attract those travelers that like it. There's a lot of travelers who travel for food. There's a lot of travelers who travel for activities. Lots of travelers that travel for events, festivals. Yeah, it's about finding your tribe and understanding it. Yeah.
And once you do that, once you have your unique asset of that place, and you identify that you can attract a certain type of digital nomads, what's next? What do you do next in order to make sure that those are feel welcome, integrated, and actually contribute to the community?
Well, then it's about exactly like creating the community and like making sure how you can do it sustainably, right? Because again, the biggest, as you said before, digital nomadism is, it's not an easy way of lifestyle, because a lots of us can feel lonely, especially after a period of time. So that's why living in a shared household, almost as I would call the co-living spaces, or living in a communities, brings a huge benefit, because you feel like there's more people who share the similar values as you, people who have the same mindset as you do. And this is what truly sets the places apart. So the places that have a great community, like Chiang Mai, you've been out there too. Like it's one of the most unique places for me in this aspect. Really stands out just by knowing that you will find your tribe there. And then it's about like carefully fostering and like nurturing this community and educating people. Again, what is this place? What does it have to offer? How can you be respectful towards it? For example, I've been coming to the Azores for the last 3 years. I've spent 3 summers here. Every time, a couple of months, we've been out cleaning the shores. We've spoke to people who run businesses here. I'm in the process of building a small co-living place here. And the idea that I have is every week or bi-weekly, we're going to have a local entrepreneur, because I have some friends who are local who can come and promote their businesses, their products, and basically educate people. Okay, this is the place where you are. This is the history of a place. This is what these people have to go through to get to where they are now and who they are now. And this is how you can help them. And I believe by creating this, or almost a partnership map or a stakeholder map, and understanding what how this how this place operates, makes a great opportunity for people to contribute. And then also, if you're getting your meat or like milk from a farmer's market every once a week, and the farmers by name, and like you just look at everything like differently. If you go and you dive, or you go and take a surf class, but you notice the story of the guy that teaches you, it just makes you feel like so different, and you just understand and appreciate it like way more.
Absolutely. Start to be connected with that place, start to be connected with that culture. And that's, I think, one of the biggest reasons why digital nomads have this lifestyle. We have the opportunity to get immersed in other cultures for a longer period of time rather than, I don't know, get away for a weekend somewhere as a tourist or 1 week vacation. And that opportunity of understanding how others live, how other places history allows you to have different perspective on yourself and your life. It's often, especially from the Western culture, we tend to chase the next shiny thing, the next achievement, the next goal. But you come to places like Bali or other islands where the life is much more laid back. They do things at a different speed, and you end up in a position to appreciate life more because you realize that you don't have to chase every single second on your life something. We're not meant to do that. We're meant to enjoy life as well, and especially that should be the priority at least. But of course, it's harder than said than done. And being able to immerse yourself in the culture allows you to do that, to understand how others live, how others enjoy life, how others go by their day. And I think you brought a really powerful topic into discussion with that. And apart from that, once nomads get immersed in the community, they start to enjoy the place and contribute. What do you suggest for destinations to keep on, let's say, increasing the lifetime value of that specific nomad, or to attract others?
So what I think is the best way about bringing digital nomads in is you effectively gain an ambassadors, right? Because just I'm talking about Azores on a podcast. I'm wearing my friend's co-working, co-living T-shirt from Thailand when I travel. I'm just a marketing tool, and I do not promote them because they pay me for it. I just promote it because I had a fantastic time in it. I return to places because I know that this is a place where I'm going to find peace, where I'm going to have enough time to focus on myself, eat good food, live healthy, and chase all my dreams, chase all my passions. I think that by creating this community and authentic experiences, you craft these visitors into ambassadors. And as soon as they leave, a lot of my friends are joking with me because I've been bragging about Azores to everyone. And I'm like, man, you haven't been, like, you got to go. It's just such a great place. I don't get it why there is no more people. Everyone is, oh, Tenerife. Again, it's fantastic place too, I bet. But, or Madeira, fantastic place. But the Azores are like way more under the radar. And it's just because I do know that I'll always have a great time here. And I just feel so tied to it now that I become their ambassador, and I just keep returning. I fell in love with the place, bought a real estate here. Exactly as I like outlined this in one of the previous questions, it's not only about like, attracting this person here for this 3 or 6 months. It may be that they may end up staying here or like living at a place or keep coming back every year or maybe investing into a property. It's the life cycle is long and definitely not limited to one visit. And I would definitely encourage creating incentives for people to return, because once you create that experience, once they know what they get, they know it's a safe bet, so they will be willing to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely understand what you say, because I became an ambassador for Madeira as well in the same way. I went there before it was popular, before the Nomad village was created, and I just tell everyone how amazing Madeira is. And now, of course, it's even more popular than that, and it's one of the most popular destination. And that can be Azore, that can be another destination under the radar. And you're right, there are so many locations that are amazing from cultural perspective, nature, people, food, whatever. and they're not promoted enough. The local governments, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to achieve that. And if some of those individuals in those positions listen to us today, when they can reach out to you in order to get help?
Ideally, reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's where I'm the most active, and that's where I try to educate. Again, I'm connected with quite a lot of decision makers in the industry, and that's where I'm the most active, trying to show them that something that they may believe is right is it just needs a little change. So yeah, that would be the best way to reach out. And in general, I feel that obviously it takes a lot of time to really understand how this ecosystem works. Like we're talking here, two experienced nomads, you've been on the road for many years, but for someone who hasn't really been in it, to understand that this is the way that the world is moving towards, it takes time. I know a lot of places, exactly as you said, like in, for example, in Asia, lots of places that are seeing, or that population is projected to drop in the next years, are already taking a lot of action trying to attract digital nomads because they want people to move in. So lots of places are seeing the light, realizing that there is a potential in it, but a lot of them have not learned a lot about it yet. So I'll be happy to provide them with any information that I can to break their beliefs or to show the way.
Yeah, perfect. And you are the right person to do. And for those listening, I'll put the link to Miro's LinkedIn in the show notes as well. And on that aspect, I think Italy started to try some programs in order to repopulate some regions. I think Spain as well. And they tried different things, but I feel where they're lacking is the fact that they try to attract people with, I don't know, you can purchase a house for $1 or you can do that, but just having a house doesn't really change anything, right? Or just giving people money. But the things that you mentioned, building a community, sharing that unique experiences that people can live, because at the end of the day, people want to experience something. They don't just want food on the table and a shelter about themselves. Like, they want experience, they want to live. And I think there is where most governments are missing, or most decision makers are missing the point. Again, digital nomads are exactly that audience that want all that. They want to live. That's why they live this lifestyle. They want that freedom of choice.
Exactly. They want to learn new things. And however stereotypish this may sound, like if you attracted people and tell them like, hey, we're gonna make teach you how to cook authentic Italian food, so many people would jump on it and move to Italy just to learn how to make pasta, pizza, and everything, all the sauces themselves. So again, as you said, it's not about, hey, you can buy a house here, hey, you can move here. It's about navigating the entire experience and the customer journey into bringing the unique treats and making them learn something.
Yeah, exactly. Because those are the experience that you live with. Like some of the experience that you mentioned at the beginning that you hold with them for their whole your life. And those are the things that actually matters, not the, of course, it's important to make money. It's important to have physical things. But at the end of the day, those experiences are the ones that you'll tell your grandkids about it. You'll share with your friends when you go back home, and so on. And yeah, if it's one big takeaway from this, is this, like, cater to experiences rather than just attracting for a quick buck and easy win. That doesn't work long term. It's not sustainable.
100%. We're all gonna, however bad this sound, like we're all gonna die. But at one point, what are you gonna think of? The house that you owned, or that time when you were skiing the powder in Japan, or like surfing in Bali, or learning how to cook authentic pasta in somewhere in Bologna? So again, collecting the experiences always sells, and that's the thing that should always matter for travelers. That's all that always works to attract them.
100%, 100%. And I want to wrap up with a small challenge for those listening. And I want to split it in two. If they are digital nomads, how to make a lasting impact on the place they are traveling to in order to improve the image of digital nomads in front of others. And the other four destinations, if someone is listening, one thing they can do in less than 1 week in order to start moving the needle in the right direction to attract digital nomads.
So for The destinations, what I always say, I believe that as we have right now, every city has a library. I believe in 10 years, every city is going to have a co-working space. And I always said, you don't need to build a co-working space. You don't need to build a new infrastructure. You just need to use the existing infrastructure. So if you have a library, just take out 2 tables, create seatings for people, provide a good internet, and let people go and work remotely from there. For example, simple step for people, for digital nomads, go eat at a local restaurant. Do not go to a fancy restaurants where you need to put a reservation to get in. No, just walk through the town, go grab your cow soy, grab your whatever you want to get in the most local spot, and enjoy it and talk about it. Tell people why is it that you travel, not because you want to save up a lot of money, but mostly because you truly want to experience something and learn something about a new culture. Learn new languages, couple phrases. You don't need to be fluent in it. Learn a couple phrases, do things that local people do, and yeah, have fun with it and talk to everyone about it.
Yeah, I love that because indeed those small interactions with the locals, those small activities that you do to help the community that you're living in go way beyond the, I don't know, the fancy dinner
Exactly.
or the touristic activity that most places, especially popular places, attract others with. And those will last for that particular individual probably a lifetime because that money that you give a local probably change their lives. Because foreign money in a local place can go way further than in your home country. Thanks so much, Milosh, for sharing all that and for opening the eyes for so many. Since there are a lot of misconceptions around this community, there are a lot of opportunities as well that are untapped, and hopefully those listening can on both spectrum to start seeing things differently and do something about it.
Thank you, Gabe, for having me. And likewise, thank you for running this show because it inspires definitely more people to go on their solopreneur journey. And solopreneurs, most of them can be nomads. So, yeah, thank you for spreading the message and having me here.
You, yes, you're one of the few that stick to the end. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing so. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so below. And if you got any value from this, please share it with a friend. They might got some value from it as well. Thank you so much, and until next week, pura vida!